Welcome to everybody on today's call and today's discussion in building connection and presence in your virtual interactions. I'm Donna Burr. I'm a partner with our interim executive practice here in Melbourne and joined by my colleague Jacinta Whelan in Melbourne, Lisa and Carolyn McAuliffe in Sydney, and our wonderful friend and return guest speaker, Renata, who I'm going to introduce to you all in a moment for those who haven't had the pleasure of listening and speaking with Renata. So let me set the scene. The pandemic has accelerated remote working. Hybrid working is commonplace. We've all adapted to communicating virtually for meetings, interviews, leading our teams, pitching for new client work and so forth. We've all had to rapidly upskill in technology to engage virtually, so be that Teams or Zoom, and best we can optimise how we work from our home offices, and for many of us with mixed success. Our premise for running today's masterclass is this: whether you've come today because you're an interim executive or an executive looking for your next assignment or work, whether you're on an assignment or in a role and you have to build trust and credibility with your peers, with your teams that you're leading in a remote environment, or whether you're looking at how do you optimise and set yourself up best from working from home. There are some tips and tricks to take what you've done in person to the virtual in a virtual sense, and today is very much about that. It isn't an interview techniques or presenting with influence on the screen course. It's a sharing of learnings that Renata has accumulated over the last 15 to 18 months that will aid you to operate both professionally and efficiently in today's virtual environment. Some housekeeping before I hand over to Renata. Please use the chat, as Renata said. Share your learnings and experiences. Take this opportunity to connect. When using the chat, please make sure you've got all attendees and panelists flagged, so all participants can sort of see your comments and share. Please raise your questions and we'll bring these best we can into the conversation real time. We are allowing about 15 minutes at the end to cover off some questions and Q&A as well. We are recording the session, so we'll have access to the chat transcript. If there's anything we don't cover, we'll aim to come back to you following the session to cover off any pieces that we haven't closed out. And you're in for a real treat today. Renata has created a wonderful landing page that you will all be able to access beyond this, that has a range of tools, data, information, today's session notes and so forth. So I'm really excited and thrilled that she's been able to create that for you all. And we'll share that after the session along with the recorded version if anyone needs to leave earlier. We'll run for an hour and we'll keep focused to that. So now to our guest speaker, Renata. She's a friend of Watermark's. She's a job hunting expert, a career strategist, and host of the Job Hunting podcast. Her coaching, services and social media presence aim to increase career literacy for professionals in the corporate, non-profit and public sectors. Renata runs her own consultancy platform for portfolio professionals and is well versed in discussing today's topic. Welcome, Renata. I know you're going to have some fun with today's session and I'd like to hand over to you now.
Thank you so much, Donna. Thanks everybody at Watermark and all of you attending today. I just love doing presentations like this, and you are such a great group of people to present to because you're so ready for the content that I've created. You know, I don't have to educate you to get here. You're here already, you're interested, and I'm delighted to be here. So thanks again for this opportunity. Let's have a look at the slides, and I'm going to let you know once again that I have all the information in the slide deck for you. The slide is very interactive, so it's all hyperlinked and you can click and access all the things that I'll be talking about. And then in this website that I created for, especially for Watermark, just for you, it has a lot of free resources that I've done over the past few months that I think will be useful for you, and access to other links on my website that I think might be of interest to you as well. So you will get this page and you sign in and you have access to all of that if you want. So you don't need to take notes now. So that's great news for you. And like Donna said, this has been designed for people that are now working from home. Portfolio career people, some of you are considering transitioning to interim because Watermark is so good at interim executive assignments. And some of you are really keen to step into another big permanent role, and that's fine too. And there's a lot of gray areas in between, right? We're going to talk a little bit about that now. This is the future, guys. There's no way around it. Both in the US and in Australia now, we know the data pre-COVID, so pre-pandemic, I'm calling it BP. People working from home in the US, 5%. In Australia, the last census was 4 to 5%. Now look at what has happened. You know, since last year, middle of last year, it's about 60% of people working in US working from home. And we can extrapolate that that's the same here in Australia, right? So it's a really big shift. And if you think about that, we were expecting this disruption to come from technology. It actually came from a pandemic. Expectations in terms of long term are different between employers and employees. Employers would like to see more people coming back to the office, but employees are very set on staying home, about 50% of them. So this is a very large research done in the US. So that's really impressive and such a massive change in a small amount of time. And then the second thing that we see is the changes that are happening geographically, people moving regionally, moving out of big cities like Melbourne and Sydney, and you know, if they have vacation house, it's now their permanent home. You may know people that, or it may be you know, people that have done that last year, and that trend will continue. So there's this massive geographic disruption that means that we need to adapt quickly and show a different type of leadership and work remotely really well. This masterclass, however, is not going to be an analysis about the work from home, if it's good or bad, you know, feelings that people have about it, opinions. And of course, if you're a leader, you're probably thinking of different models, hybrid models, how you're going to, you know, lead a team that is working remotely and what sort of technology is needed, blah, blah, blah. You can find that online. There's a lot of stuff. I share that in my weekly newsletter all the time. So I think you need to, you know, especially if you've been out of work last year and you're still out of work, which is completely fine and, you know, to be expected in a pandemic, it's really important to keep that thought leadership fresh in your mind, that so that you can go back to a business and hit the ground running with those new big disruptions that are happening, big transformations. But we're not going to talk about that today. This masterclass is also not about making you feel bad, because there is a lot of content out there, and it made me, I have a good mate, and she was doing something very much like this from home, and she has small children and they were crying in the background and she felt so bad. Look, this is going to happen. We just need to get used to this. And by the way, if I need to be interrupted today, it's just something you have to get used to, you know, all the time. And we shouldn't feel bad, and we shouldn't feel awkward about it. And it's just, we need to learn how to operate in a completely different environment professionally. So we're not going to make you feel bad. And if you are feeling unproductive, if you're working longer hours, you're not connecting with people as well as you did in the past, there's nothing wrong with you. All my clients are absolutely amazing senior executives. And, you know, from beginning of last year onwards, we have all felt that change, that we're not working the way that we could be working to progress our careers, to get our next job, and we just don't know what's wrong. So, you know, that's what happens, for example, when you have a business transformation at work and you're implementing a large, let's say, enterprise-wide tech solution. It's really to change the structure of how the business runs. And people tend to, there is this kind of two philosophical ways of thinking about it, where, oh no, you need to fix the culture, you need to fix the communication, you need to fix how you interact with the person. It makes people feel bad at work when all they need is a better CRM solution. So I'm always about changing the structures. You know, it started when I was I am a mother and a professional, and I looked at all the structures, like still, school hours versus the time I had to work to be the professional I wanted to be, and the structure was not in alignment with the needs that I had as an executive, the school structure, and it's still the case. And that sort of same philosophy permeates my coaching. So I often tell my clients, look, it's not you, it's the structure. Recruitment and selection is a structure. How are we going to address that structure? You're a great professional. You just need to learn how to operate within that structure, because I can't change it. But in this case here today, we're going to talk about changing a few things. And I think you're going to be a bit surprised about what this masterclass is actually going to be about. And you can always add your comments and your feelings and ideas in the chat, because I'm looking at it and I'll be, sort of testing how the sentiment is in the room. I mean, we have 74 people here, and I'd love to kind of get yeses or nos. Is this how you're feeling? So use the chat. And if you have questions, Donna will stop me, right, Donna, and let me know that there's a question there for me. So don't be shy. Don't wait until the end of this session. Let's make it more interactive. Because building connections and presence online is very different. I don't want you to feel like you're a passive attendee at this masterclass. I want you to maximize the use of your chat box to get to know me and to get to know people. And it's the way to call attention. Imagine that this is an event that you would go at Collins Street or George Street. This is the sort of thing that we need to kind of move our thinking and use the tools that we have in a Zoom environment, and it's the chat box in this case, to make sure that we connect. It's about building these new habits, these new pathways and systems, and a great structure for you to operate in this new way, operate remotely and still have great connections. So what I'm showing in the next slides, it's really about the best tools and advice that I can offer you. This is not a temporary solution. It's time to acknowledge that this is a big change, and this is about setting up your new way of working. Home must transform to accommodate these new arrangements that we have. And if both partners work from home, if you have a partner or if you have kids and they have to study from home, even our houses will have to change and adapt. I spent 2020 watching my neighbor across the road transform his house and move the two girls to one bedroom, and so that him and his wife can work from home. And it's really interesting to see that now if you go to Metricon or Porter Davies or any of those big house companies, they will be talking about building extra studies and transforming rooms into studies. And I think that that's exactly where we're going here. So this masterclass is probably going into a direction that you weren't expecting. But why am I sort of doing this for you and for Watermark? It's because I have spoken to over 200 people for the past 12 months, through surveys, interviews, and coaching clients and group coaching clients and the LinkedIn audits and all the sessions that I do. And these things I observe are issues that I have found come over and over again. And it's really easy for me to fix for you. And it's not something that I need to teach as part of my coaching. It doesn't need to be my IP. So I don't need to wait until you connect with me as a client to share this with you. And I think it's going to make a big difference and take a huge load off your back in terms of, what you're trying to achieve, and maybe trying to tweak things that you don't need to. It's just some of these ideas as well you may already have noticed and adopted. So let's have a look at what we have ahead and prepared for you. So Julia here in the chat is saying she feels like a student in her flat again. It's really how a lot of people have felt. And all of a sudden, those big open plan houses don't really seem to fit the type of lifestyle that we need to have, right? Because they echo, and you can't all work in the same room anymore because you have meetings and interviews to do. So yeah, it is a bit messy right now, but it will have to change so that it can be incorporated for the future type of work that you will do. It won't change. It's just something we need to deal with. So the first thing that I want to show you is we are going to do the Hobo Awards. Now, Hobo is a word that was introduced to me by Jacinta, and it means home office broadcast outlet. So Jacinta Whelan from Watermark with Carol wrote this wonderful book here. If you don't have it, get hold of it. And she and I were talking earlier this year. Bernard Salt last year wrote an article for the Australian, short one of those he does in the weekends, and he came up with that hobo word, and Jacinta said, oh, you have such a great hobo. And then we started thinking about developing this masterclass for you. And so we're going to go through the things that I believe have really, really worked for me in setting up myself professionally here. And I know that a lot of my clients have observed and then done very similar things or bought exactly what I have. I don't think that they are very expensive, and I don't actually think you need to buy anything, but if you're aware of it, you might tweak some things around the house to make this environment, working from home environment, work for you, to show that executive presence and show that leadership that you need to have when you're operating from home. So I'm going to present them in the ranking orders. I cannot live without these things anymore, and it might be, something fun for us to look at. And then we're going to look at other techniques and advice that I have after I go through my Hobo Awards. By the way, he wanted to call it Bozo Awards, as in, Bozo, Business Office Zoom Outlet, I think it was. And that was kind of funny. So I thought I would share with you if you haven't read that little article from Bernard Salt. Okay, so this is what my office looks like. It's exactly like that at the moment. I have that light there, wearing my glasses, my water is right here. It's exactly like that. You don't need all of that. I do podcasting, I do video production. You definitely don't need all of that. But some of these things here we're going to talk about today because they're very helpful for professionals working from home. And I'm not really sure that, a lot of people know them. I know this because my clients get these ideas from him and they fly once they start using them. So the first thing that I wanted to share with you, if you're working from home, especially if you're moving into consulting, contracting, freelancing, interim, if you're in that kind of non-executive directorship scenario as well, you might want to set up a calendar integration for you. It's so easy. You can start free. It avoids unnecessary emails and meetings. It's easy to integrate with your calendars. It's easy to create a Zoom when people sign up and organize a meeting with you. It detects time zones, and in Australia, you have Brisbane and you have WA and you have South Australia. It detects all those time zones, and you can set up one-on-one meetings and then invite more people, which I think is great. Because there's always a key person. You need to make sure that the time is available for them, and it sends reminders. So it sends a reminder to my clients and people that want to meet with me a day before, an hour before. I have total control over that. It's completely tailored. I can brand it. You don't need to, but if you want to, you can brand it. You can choose your colors. You can ask questions. So if you want to have a conversation, a free conversation with me about private coaching, this is what you're going to find. It's a 30-minute invitation. I have different types of invitations. Some of them are secret just for my clients. Imagine if I didn't have that, the amount of emails I would have to send out, it's just crazy to think that people don't operate with this. And I know Donna and Jacinta are big fans, right? So they've used this before. And I think I started you both on this.
You did.
A lot of my clients and most of my friends that are entering exec signed up with Watermark, in fact, have started using either Harmonizely or another one. So if you want to sign up, once you get this this presentation, all these links are hyperlinked. So there's a click to sign up here. And if you click on this image, I show you how it works from my website to the point of when people book a time with me. So it's really awesome. I love it. Next one that I cannot live without, and my husband is the one who introduced me to this, is Grammarly. It is a digital writing assistant tool. And I remember Andre for years, he's been using Grammarly for a long time, my husband. And I'm like, I don't need it. You know, I have Word and it fixes things up. This is above, way above and beyond Word. I mean, if anyone uses Grammarly, say yes in the chat box. I'd love to know. But I find that if you are writing proposals, quotes, resumes, cover letters, anything on LinkedIn, any box that pops up on your screen, this is what's going to happen. It's going to have a prediction on your tone. And you can see here that in this LinkedIn post that I did, I'm sounding joyful, and that's how I want to sound. But if I'm not joyful, if I'm negative, it has like an unhappy face, so I can correct that, and it gives me some ideas on how to correct. It looks for conciseness. This is another thing that I noticed. Some of my clients write really well, but they write really long sentences with lots of commas, with lots of words. It's very wordy, and that's not good for resume writing. So Grammarly can certainly help with that. And, you know, if you're repeating the same word a lot, so if you think about, again, resumes, experience is a word that we tend to repeat a lot, and sometimes action verbs that we like, we tend to repeat a lot. Grammarly will give you alternatives. So it is a great tool. I love it. You can sign up by clicking here. And again, you can sign up for free. I think for free, you don't get some things like the sound, the predictions for the tone of voice, and the sentence reconstruction. So I get that a lot. Some of the things that it fixes for me is sentence reconstruction. Now, I write a lot. I fix all my clients, you know, resumes, even emails at times. I write articles, I blog. If you're that type of person, you probably should have the paid version. But if you are, you know, not, then get the free version, right? But consider incorporating this. It has a great application for Word as well, and incorporates very well into Word, Microsoft Word. The third one I cannot live without, again, show Donna and Jacinta know, because I send these things all the time. If you work with me and you're listening, I don't know if anyone here has worked with me before. If you're my client, you will receive one of these every couple of days. It's Loom. So it's a meeting replacer. So if somebody sends me an email and say, Renata, I'm having trouble accessing your platform, or can you have a look at this email before I send it out to my boss, or, you know, can you have a quick look at my resume? I will Loom them. It means I'm going to open that document, and my face is going to be on the side, and I'm going to sort of show them where I think the improvements can be, or I'm going to show them where they can how they can access my platform if they're having any trouble, or I just have a chat. You know, somebody had a bad day, sent me an email at 10 p.m. at night. I'll just reply back with a little chat instead of an email they need to read. And I find that that's really useful. And you can see that there's a caption here. So yeah, if people, you know, are in bed and they want to read, and look, this happens, like you get, you know, a bad day if you're job hunting and you have a coach, of course, you want to get some feedback. So I use Loom a lot, and I totally recommend it, and I think it works very well for me. I don't know if you can hear that somebody's cutting cement just outside my door, so apologies for that. That's the problem with hobos. If you can hear it, my apologies. So the other thing that I want to talk to you about, and I cannot live without, is Kajabi, but this is an investment. This is a step up. But it has worked a lot for a few of my clients and many of my consultant friends, those that are doing portfolio careers and have amazing content that they've created over time. They were delivering over and over and over again live, and then they I told them about Kajabi, and now it's on demand. So I'm showing you here my Reset Your Career workshop, which I delivered live and then made it into an on-demand program. People can just download it and start watching those master classes and so on. But Marianne Rue, who is an HR consultant, uses it to deliver her programs, and a company like she's works with companies like Coca-Cola, Mercer, Deloitte, Gemna. They just go here and they just purchase like 50 of those for their entire team. Okay, so it's easier for them. It's probably a better investment for them. Marianne can then deliver new content and sort of prepare other types of on face-to-face delivery. But if she's done something and it's already ready for delivery, it can be done on demand. So think about that in a way that you move towards consultancy. If you have, like, my page took months to do because I didn't have the content ready yet. When I told Marianne about Kajabi, her page was done in a week because she already had the content. You know, if you already do delivery of training, it's so easy because you already have the content. All you need to do is copy and paste it into a very nice platform that people can pay online, or you can send them an invoice. It's really, really something to consider if you are a thought leader and you have content that you share and IP that you need to protect. So if you decide to sign up, I am an affiliate, so I can coach you. Make sure that you get in touch with me. And I will help you, you know, just have a conversation with you of how it works. Many of my friends are doing this. In fact, I have a doctor now. He's an obstetrician, and he has a training program for GPs, and he's going to do this on Kajabi because he doesn't need to do it face to face. So it can be used in sort of all different professions. I'm often impressed by people that only work with one monitor or their laptop. I find it so hard. And, you know, like I said, you're in your house now for a very long time, especially if you're moving into this interim exec environment. Buy yourself a monitor. Most of my clients, when they start with me, they don't have a second monitor, and I make them buy one because it's so much easier. You can drag and drop. You can have, you know, your Zoom here and your notes there. You can see it. I'm looking to the sides because I have my laptop open with this IKEA bamboo stand, which makes my laptop stay really upright. And I think that that's really important for you. And one thing that I did end of last year is I upgraded my monitor, and the link to my monitor is here. It's like $200 now. It was $500 in December, but it's so much better. The image and the quality and the eye care technology that they have, it doesn't flicker as much. All of these things will make you feel better on your day-to-day work. So think about how you can improve that environment to make it very efficient for you and very productive. I'm sure you can hear the grinder outside. It's so loud. I'm so sorry about that.
It's not too bad, Renata. We can hear you quite clearly.
Can you hear it?
I can hear you clearly. It's all good.
You know, I once interviewed Jeff Morgan. I don't know if people know who he is, from Morgans and Banks, you know, a big sort of recruitment mentor of mine, a big guru. And that's what we had outside. And I just felt so bad. Anyway, it happens. The next thing I want to talk to you about is Zoom. I don't think people know how they can use Zoom to the max, you know, and maximize that use of the Zoom technology. For example, I have a Zoom open door day for people in my Facebook private group. So you can just go to Facebook, sign up to my private group, and I give some love there every now and then. I have an open door day. So I have a Zoom link that I send to them, and anyone can pop in and talk to me. And I think if you're a leader of people and you're working remotely, that open door policy on Zoom is so great. You know, it doesn't have to be a meeting or anything formal. People can pop in and out, and you keep working. If nobody shows up, nobody shows up. But at least you know that, you know, you have this, you've given people this opportunity to come and talk to you as if it was an open door policy. And I like that idea. You can also record and share things with others. You don't actually need the Loom. If you want to do a presentation, like a PowerPoint presentation, you just record in on Zoom and give people access. Zoom will have a little link. You can record it on your cloud, which I recommend because the download and upload is a bit annoying. And you can also practice for interviews. Record yourself so that you can see how you look, see your facial expressions and how you move your hands and how you're answering the questions. And then you can listen back and improve upon it. Now, it's really awful, or for me it was at least, to listen to my own voice, but you have to bypass that. The world now is online and virtual. So in terms of developing your executive presence and how you lead and how you present, it's such a great opportunity to record yourself on Zoom and then watch it back and see if you can see a few things that you can improve. So I really strongly recommend that you do that. And I also do some more sophisticated presentations using Zoom, and then I upload it on Loom. Why do I do that? Because I can see when people access Loom, and I can kind of check if their their level of interest. So if I'm doing something a bit that requires a bit more of a PowerPoint presentation and a bit better quality of resolution, because Loom is doesn't have very good resolution quality, I do it in Zoom, download it, upload it to Loom, and then send it out. Things that you can do that will show you can really work from home and you have a great office environment from home. So Gordon is saying Zoom is great for meeting prep, awkward at first, worthwhile though. Yes, absolutely. It is awkward at first and it is great. So in fact, I also, Gordon, I don't know if you've test drive this, but LinkedIn has an interview preparation video app in their jobs section that I strongly recommend because it has lots of interesting questions there. You can record yourself there and then you can send it to me if I'm coaching you or somebody that's mentoring you. You can send that recording for them. Or there's an AI tool on LinkedIn that actually gives you feedback. It's fantastic. So I really strongly recommend that people test that out as well.
Share that, Renata, at the end, just in your information, those links on the LinkedIn.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah,
good idea.
Good.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to share with you is cameras. Now, I'm going to swap cameras very quickly so you can see what I mean. It's a small little picture of me there, but if you compare that to this camera here from my laptop, you can see that this laptop is brand new. It's top of its line. It's a HP Spectre, super fancy. And look at the quality of the camera. It's not good, right? It's not great. So I would recommend that if you're serious about staying home and working from home and presenting yourself in the best possible way, $100 will pay for a Logitech camera that will give you this. And in fact, I'm also using the microphone from my Logitech camera. I have this one here. It's not the fanciest and it's not the cheapest. It's kind of a mid-range. I would definitely go for whatever you can afford as long as it's not your laptop. Very rarely I see laptop cameras that are great quality. Donna's is a great quality. Donna doesn't need to buy a Logitech.
But I was just thinking that I should.
No, most times yours is very good. So it really depends on your laptop, but have a think about it because I think it's a very good investment. It has been for me. And what else? The next thing I wanted to suggest to you is this beauty here. It's much cheaper than Earbuds. If you have Earbuds, it's also, I have to say it's much better than Earbuds for both the sound quality, the mic quality, the active noise. It's I don't know why, but I really do prefer this. And it's easier to swap between my computer and my phone. I can just press it and it goes from phone to phone. My husband and I live with this. We have this. I'm not wearing it now because I prefer not to do presentations with it, but I wear this all day long and he wears his all day long. He has the black, I have the gold, and it's just swapping between phone and and the computer all day. And I think it's really an easy way to maximize your work and also work and walk. I do that a lot. If I need to take a call, I get up and I go for a walk with my earbuds, and the sound quality is crisp. I don't think people notice, unless it's a windy day outside, people don't notice where I am. The other thing that I have been recommending is this, because it's so cheap. And I know that so many of you who are interested in going into entering executive work, portfolio work, and consulting are thinking about maybe having a website to showcase people. And, you know, it's just a nice thing to have if you are taking that step. And website design is expensive. And this is a hack. This website design is actually to sell stuff. You're not selling anything, but it has all the different areas that you need to, in one page, to introduce yourself to a client. It's $99, people. And I have used it. I have used this for my business because it builds, it's built for either WordPress or Kajabi. So if you're thinking about another platform, it wouldn't work for you. It's so well designed. All you need to do is add words to what is already there. But if you are keen to add your different colors, if you're that type of person, I know I am, I have my colors, you can just change the, you know, brown for pink or whatever. And it's so easy to do as well. You can change all the photos. Of course, you will want to add a photo of you here. It has a special area for testimonials, a special area to highlight all the different types of consulting work that you do. It's great, and it's $99. So if you're thinking, oh, maybe it's not for me, it's too expensive to do a website, think about this one, because it is a good one. And again, I think I'm an affiliate for this because I have so many people that I've recommended. If you sign up, let me know if you have any trouble. But instead of Kajabi, they use Teachable, which is another platform. And step by step, they teach you how to use it if you're that kind of person. You know, if you need a little bit more help with technology as well. I have never used the Teachable bits that they have because I found it so easy to use. I didn't need to go to the Teachable page, but Teachable and Kajabi are competitors. And then you can have a look and see if you like Teachable better. I prefer Kajabi. It's better for me. The other thing that I wanted to show you is my little screen without lights. So I have a ring light on, which I don't think you need. It's too much. It's a big investment. It's unnecessary. It's bulky. So this is without the ring light. Now I'm going to turn off this light here. I have this light here from IKEA, which I think is perfect. And you can see I'm much darker now. Can you tell, Donna?
I can. And
lots of shadows.
Yeah,
now I'm
absolutely.
going to turn this back on again. And look at that.
Yep.
Isn't it better?
Much clearer. Nice warm light. Yep.
Yeah, it's better. And I'm going to turn the ring light again. I don't think the ring light makes that much of a difference. Am I right? I don't know.
Yeah, a little bit. But I can see the difference with no lighting to the lighting for sure.
I would just go with two lights, maybe this one and maybe a taller one on the other side. This one is $50, but many of these are like, I think this one is like $20. And I just saw one, which I don't have a picture here because I saw it last night, and it was $10. And it's actually like just a one of these bowls, and it was $10. And that's all you need, you know, and it gives a beautiful soft light that will make such a big difference. If you're like me and you have a lot of light coming from one side, you can just have this sort of light source coming from the other side and you're good to go. So again, it's making sure that you're presenting well. Same way that if you were going to a CEDA event or a boardroom event, you're going to put a tie and a suit and your leather shoes and you want to kind of have a good presence, your best tie, right? So this is the sort of things that we have to think about now that we're working from home. What's going to make us look good on screen and showcase that we're working in a very professional environment and people can trust us to represent their businesses from home, right?
Some great comments and endorsements of different products on the side there that people have trialed as well.
Yes. Oh, I'm going to show a photo of some of the stuff that I bought on Amazon, because I do have a cheap light from Amazon that I use with my Canon camera. It's it's hard on my eyes. That's the thing about the Amazon packs, Joe. When I'm sending these things to you, I have returned so many other things. Like lights that I've returned, things that I bought and I didn't need. It's just, these are really like, after a whole year of testing things out, this is what I think is best. What I have found with lights that I bought on Amazon is that they hurt my eyes. And if you're doing a presentation that will take an hour and a half, like this one, I do group coaching sessions that are 2 hours long. By the end of it, you know, with the lights that I was using before from Amazon, I had a headache. It was really hard. The ring light gives me a headache as well. These soft lights don't. They're better for my health. So just something to think about, Joe, but I get it. You know, that if you're doing something short, then I think the powerful lights that you buy that are built for video production would probably be good. To use every day on your Hobo, then I don't think that they're good. I think that they're, you know, for me, they didn't really work. Now, the whiteboard is a wonderful tool because I use it all the time. You know, like I'm the sort of person who, you know, in my corporate career, I implemented CRM solutions like Salesforce, and I used to manage large teams. I was the sort of person that would have to get up all the time and go to the whiteboard to start strategizing and, you know, ideation and flow charting things. And I still do that. So if that's the type of person that you are, staying at home without a whiteboard is like torture. I was feeling like a piece of me was missing. And I started actually using I'm in a bedroom that I turned into my office, and it has mirror wardrobe doors. And my mirror doors are all written over with markers, right? So that's for me, and I don't share that with my clients. It's sort of strategic work that I do for my business. But this is great to talk to clients. And when you are not sharing screen on Zoom, they can read it. And then I take a photo and send it to them because they ask, oh, can you send it to me? And I take a photo and I send it. And you can see I have the flip chart. The whiteboard is behind it, and then it's magnetic as well. And the flip chart is great because if you do have a ring light or any sort of source of light here, it's not reflective. So that's why I use the paper and not the whiteboard. But if you don't use a light, then maybe the whiteboard will work for you. Now, my EA, I have an EA now in the Philippines, and I told Donna this morning she is very sick. She could have COVID. I don't know. I'm sort of really worried about her. I'm going to call her as soon as we end today. But when that happens, when she takes a break, she took a break over Christmas, I hire Twinsy. And when I started my business 2 years ago, I had Twinsy for almost a year. They are fantastic and a lifesaver. You pay $99 for them for 10 hours of work. They do work so fast. Those 10 hours lasted me weeks. Sometimes I didn't even need it. And they used to, you know, at the end of the month, they would say, you know, you still have 2 hours. And I'm like, oh, okay. But this shows the sort of work that I did. It was January. Stella was on leave, and I needed to do some research. And it was 5 p.m. in the afternoon. By 9 p.m., they had done it already. So that's the sort of thing that if you are pressed for time and you need research done, you need some sort of articles that you need to find, just go to sleep knowing that there's somebody that's going to do that for you. It's not a person, it's a business. They're in India, but they're a startup from San Francisco. A lot of people use them. Lucy Bloom, who some people may know here, is a great speaker, bright pink hair. She was the one who recommended me Twinsy. Lucy's Facebook and Instagram. She's great at helping people like you and I. You know, when you and I mean freelancers and people that are in career transition. So follow her. She always has good advice. And yeah, I totally recommend Twinsy for those times when, like, I have a friend, I had lunch with her yesterday very quickly because she was putting 2 proposals for 2 different clients. And she had all this work that she needed to do. And I told her about Twinsy, right? So it's just something that you you need to think of. Thanks for all the feedback, guys. I'm glad you're enjoying it. The hidden tool that I want to give an award to is blue filter glasses. When you're working from home and after this pandemic, we're looking at the screen all the time. I had horrible problems at the end of last year. And then I got all my glasses done with the blue filter, and now I don't have any more problems. So it's just that, you know, if you think about the type of work that I do, I am with coaching clients 24/7, 5 days a week. And then I use the weekends to do some Netflix catch ups. So of course, this is the sort of thing that we haven't thought of. I know Donna is not a big fan of the blue filter glasses, but for me, they have really worked. And if you're redoing your reading glasses, think about it. In fact, I have reading glasses for this distance. I have a monitor glass. This is my monitor glass. It's a different one. And then I have glasses that I use for driving. So you can tell that I'm an old person when I have a collection of glasses in my bag. But the monitor is really interesting because it's a new thing for me, and it really made a difference as well. And it's a different distance from reading a book. So something to think about. And it's so important that you spend your day feeling great all day. And that's the sort of thing that has helped me.
Some
The other
positive
thing that people are
endorsement there
forgetting
of the
to
blue
use.
glass.
Sorry, Donna, what
And
is
some
it?
positive endorsement there in the chat on the blue screen there, Renata.
Oh, good.
I'll just give you a time check too. It's about 1:45.
Okay. The forgotten two is your phone. So don't forget your phone. Don't forget to call people. You don't need to Zoom people. Please just pick up your phone and call. And I tell people this all the time. And I think Donna is nodding there. And it's just so much easier to resolve the things issue quickly, get feedback on your job application quickly. Just give people a call. This is my setup. And you can see my camera there, you can see my light. And now I'm going to talk to you about some things that I call cheating smartly to help you. But of course, no, before we're going to talk about backgrounds, before the cheating part, which I'll leave it to the end, I'll talk about backgrounds because backgrounds are really important. And we're going to very quickly go through my favorite Twitter account, which is Room Raider. If you want to have fun, just go to your Twitter account, find Room Raider, and follow them because it's hilarious. The critique is so funny and lovely, and also giving advice. So you can see here that this person got a 9 out of 10, and the advice is to crop left. But it's just so good that this person is sort of giving us ideas about how to do a better background and just giving just lovely advice. I have no idea who Room Raider is, but I always recommend this to clients and friends. This one is an 8 out of 10. And I'm sure it's about the lighting here on her face that's not so good. But yeah, they said it, tweak lighting. So there you go. And the third one is this one, which is a 7. So Room Raider is really lovely. It never gives a very bad review, unless it's a political point that they want to make. But this one here, you can see why it's a 7. You know, it's a bit bland, it's a bit vanilla, not many colors there. So something that you can learn by observing how Room Raider is rating the people that they see on TV. Now, this is an interesting one because I adore Jonathan Swan. I adore his father. I think it's a great family. But what was he thinking with this background? You know, it's terrible, isn't it? And so he got a 7 from Room Raider. And I just wanted to compare what a 7 and a 10 look like. So this is how to book wall. I mean, I'm a big fan of book walls. I feel bad that I don't have one. I wish I did. I just have a few books there. I wish I did have a book wall. I think book walls for people that are looking for work are really important. So think about just getting a Billy bookcase and sticking it behind you and having the right books there, like this girl has done. This woman has done really great, got 10 out of 10 for everything. And I hope you enjoyed looking at those backgrounds, and you can see how, even though I love Jonathan's one and, you know, I would listen to him anytime, if I didn't know him, that background doesn't scream, you know, a great reporter, right?
Mm.
Yes, Justine. Jonathan, what were you thinking? But they're both dags, him and his dad. So, you know, look at that tie, red tie. You know, what was he thinking? He's dressing like Donald Trump. Some call it cheating, but it really isn't. Now, this is the thing that Donna and I were talking just before we started, and I want to share with you what I have. So if you can see my little screen, I have notes here all the time. So this is my brain dump, right? And you need a brain dump as well. If there are things that you know people come to you for often, you don't need to retrieve them from your memory. You just write little notes and have them right here, right in front of you. Okay. The other thing that you can do if you're going for a job interview and you have keywords that you want to include, you want to talk about the organization's purpose, or you want to remember people's names, get a sticky note and stick it right next to your camera, right? Like that. I have, those are sticky notes that I had around my monitor just now. So you can see I have many. And by the end of the day, I'm going to go through them and make sure that I address all of these issues, throw them away. But if I'm preparing for a meeting, usually I do this. Job interviews, I've always done this. The other thing that you can do is drag and drop, if you have two screens, a document. And if you're in a Zoom with somebody, here is somebody's picture and here is your picture. You just have the document in front of your picture. You don't need to look at yourself, right? So you can have that document there with your notes, and nobody will know that you're actually going through your notes to make sure you're talking to people about everything that you want to talk about. And all it needs is to have like dot points. What is not great is when you're looking to the side, like I did some of the time in this presentation, because I have my slide presentations on the side. That's not a good look if you're going for a job interview, right? You want to look at the screen, but you can drag and drop a document and it stays sitting in front of you here. And I think it's a great solution. So in conclusion, building connections and presence in virtual interactions requires you to think differently and operate differently day to day, and think about new ways of working and new structures that will support you to be the awesome professional that you already are. Every client of mine is absolutely brilliant, and they operated really well in boardrooms. They operated really well face to face. And that transition just took them out of, they felt like a fish out of water. So by developing this new structure and making them feel good working from home, finding their groove again, and understanding that these little tweaks that they do in their home and in their setup can actually make them present really well, takes all that sort of anxiety and stuff away from their brains, and you can think clearly again and be the sort of senior executive leader that you are. So that's what you're trying to do, is sort of not worry about it and operate in a more natural way in this kind of new environment. And I look forward to hearing from you. I want to give you the details of all this stuff that we've spoken today, answer some questions. I'm not in a hurry to go. So if you are in a hurry to go, you will have the recording later. But, you know, Donna and I agreed that I can stay here and answer questions, so no problem. But, you know, these slides are for you for free. And also I have all my free resources that I've created over the years, a couple of years now, available to you when you go to this link here. You can download them. There's a workshop there that you can do. If you're in Melbourne, we're about to go into lockdown again, so I've given you lots of things to look into. And of course, I have the podcast. You can find it on Spotify or my website. You have all these different topics here and interviews, like I said before. I listed here James as well. If you click here on this presentation, you will go straight to these interviews. And the one with James, I think, is great because He's the former global director for Right Management, and some of you may have done outplacement, so it's a good one to listen to.
Renata,
Or you
some
can
great.
work with
Oh,
me.
sorry. Yep.
So yeah, that's the sort of work that I do. And if you click here, you can go and check and see all of them. And this is where you can find me.
Renata, there's some lovely comments and commentary coming through the chat there. It looks like you've really kind of hit the mark for people. And I think my takeaway too is, you know, your tips and hacks and ideas are just very achievable. They feel like a manageable step that we can each take, you know, even to take 2 or 3 things that you've done and implement them will actually, as you say, ease that sort of stress and anxiety that we might have and help us present, you know, more professionally. There was one question that was just back through the chat that I just wanted to bring your attention to. Somebody commented on your view or opinion around turning off the video in Zoom sessions and so forth, and your kind of thoughts around that.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. When I do turn my video off, in the chat room, I explain why. I'm like, you know, sorry guys, I'm turning it off because I just still driving, you know, or had to go for a coffee. I'll be right back. But other than that, for the presenter, for me, if I'm presenting, I like to see people looking back at me. And it's, if you're looking for work, be it consulting, contracting, you know, a permanent role, you want to be present. You want to be in the room in the same way that you would be in the room in an event or a function, a networking function. And if you're leading or if you are working for somebody, you want that rapport to continue. That will help you with promotions, that will help you to remind people that you're there. That visual side of things is really important. So I don't recommend disconnecting the video. And if you do, explain why.
Yep, oh, that's great. If there's any other questions that you have, please feel free to put them in the chat for these last couple of minutes. Just kind of scrolling down. Yes.
Dagmar, good approach with Zoom. Meeting might be to define what is the interactive part and then ask for everybody to turn on the video during that time. So in this setup, Dagmar, that we're using today, it's not a meeting, it's a webinar. And in that case, there is no video. And you have to do that when you have too many people, because it can be confusing and distracting for the presenter to see all the faces. But there are different, some people are like, I present at Rotary every evening, every month, once a month in the evening. And we usually have around 60 to 100 people attending, and it's everybody's on video. And it's lovely. But Rotary is the sort of organization that has very good rules of engagement, and people know what to do at Rotary functions. And it translated super well to Zoom. And, you know, I'm so proud of the Club of Melbourne for doing that. So if you create those rules of engagements, it can be great. You know, some people do amazing presentations to over 100 people and everybody is on video, and it's fantastic. So yeah, I agree with Dagmar. There's different ways that you can work, and the more you do it, the better you become.
Renata, oh sorry, one last question before we wrap it up. And there was a question there from John around the slides and presentation. Yes, John, that'll come to you automatically if you've registered for today's session, and with your email address, you'll be sent everything automatically. But one last question that I can see here from Gordon. Renata, your view on the importance of looking at the camera directly instead of on the screen or person's face.
That's a good question. It really depends on your camera's technology. So some cameras will self-adjust. So I can look at my screen and this camera will self-adjust. So you don't have to look at the camera, which is weird because you sometimes want to look at the screen because you're doing a presentation, right? So it will really depend, and that's the advice that I give, you know, that you record yourself so you know where your eyes land with the camera that you have, and you then make some tweaks and adjustments because you've recorded it, you know what you look like to other people, and then you can adjust. One thing that I have a client, and we often laugh because sometimes when I ask her questions, the first thing she does is she looks to the side and then she answers looking to the side. And a lot of people do that. It's if you do analysis of body language, people are retrieving information, looking this to one side and the other one, they're making things up. I'm not a body language expert, but you know what I mean. And she often apologizes, I'm looking to the side because I'm thinking. But that natural way of presenting or interacting or answering questions, people can read that body language. You don't have to apologize. You don't have to worry if you do that. So the only reason why you would have to make sure you're looking straight to camera and you don't move around is if it's a straight to camera video interview. What does that mean? You're not actually looking at anybody. You're recording a video that will then be analyzed. And I don't know what your experience has been, people listening, but I have CEO clients that have had to do that as a first rite of passage for the recruitment. And it's really hard to do if you have never done it before. One more reason for you to practice that. And the reason why you have to do that is because some of those technologies have body language sensors. Yeah, I hope that we don't get to that stage when people are analyzing our smiles and our eyes and all of that, but we may be moving towards that. So you need to look straight to camera and make the best out of your body language and show that you're excited about the role.
Renata, thank you so much. So many fabulous insights, and love your candid style, engaging presentations. And we are also fortunate to be able to receive all your tips and tools, which will be coming to everybody who's registered for the call over the next 24 hours. So can't thank you enough again for your preparation and being with us here today. Clearly it's been of great value. There's some wonderful commentary and engagement through the chat function. So thank you everybody on the call today. We look forward to hosting you again soon at another webinar. And thanks so much, Renata. You take care.
My pleasure. Bye everyone. Have a great day.
Bye everyone. Thank you.